Monday Sidekick, the AI agent that knows you and your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. Ask it anything. Seriously. Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today on monday.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
And welcome to 31 Days of Terror 2025, and we are on day number 5, and I have 2 spooky stories for you today, and the first story today comes from Harriet. At the time, I must have been around 6 or 7, no older. I lived in a small village in the countryside in the smallest county of England. I was at school one day and it was sunny, so after eating lunch we were allowed out onto the playing field, which was located at the back of the grounds near the early years classroom, just after the lower playground. An important detail to note is that there was only one door that led directly onto the playground from the side of the school that I was on. I was sat on the obstacle course that we had that was just on the grass of the field, directly opposite this door. It also wasn't a windy day, and because it was break time, the door to the playground was kept propped open, and it would have made an obvious slamming noise had it been closed. I was staring right at it, waiting for my friend who had been eating her lunch slower than me, so I had gone out before her. All of a sudden I was awoken from my thoughts by someone grabbing my shoulders and going, "Boo!" to shock me. I turned around at this and saw my friend behind me. I hadn't seen her come out the door. I turned back around to face the door briefly, and then she was just gone from behind me. Then I realised that there was no one else in the playground with me, despite the fact that there had been seconds before. There was also no noise, no birds, no mooing of the cows in the next field over, no voices, nothing. Looking at that door, I realised it was closed. I didn't see or hear it close, despite only turning around for a second. I blinked and then the door was open again, the noises were as usual, and my friend was walking through the open doorway. I told her what had happened to me that day, and she said that she'd been inside the entire time I'd experienced that moment. She was the only student in a school of 70 kids that looked anywhere near how she did, so it was nearly impossible for me to mistake her for anyone else, given how distinct she looked from the rest of the kids there. I don't know if the school itself was haunted at all because it was a modern building at the time. I did, however, have another strange experience when I was in my final year in the school, where I could actually feel the floor moving beneath my feet. It wasn't an earthquake. I checked with my dad when I got home, as he had some tech that could detect and record earthquakes when they happened. It felt like the floor was like the deck of a ship. When I looked at it, I could see it moving. This happened both inside and outside. I was with the same friend that I had had my initial experience with, and she said she could feel it as well. It didn't feel like something I was imagining, and I could feel this angry presence coming from the direction of a teacher who no one liked. She wasn't angry at the time, and it wasn't my own feeling. I don't know how to describe it. It was like there was something radiating from her. I've had one other paranormal experience in a school before, this time with another friend. In fact, I still experience this now and then. In 6th form, which is ages 16 to 18, I had a friend who was also very much into the paranormal. I'm not sure exactly when this happened, but we had a time period where we could both feel an intensely dark and anxiety-inducing energy coming from the corner of the hallway, where we noticed a shadow that should not have been as dark as it was. We decided to move from where we were working because the shadow just felt so wrong. The energy in the air felt heavy. We moved and the energy moved with us. It literally followed us through the shadows, making them darker as we passed. Eventually we gave up trying to work and just sat on the soft furnishings in the small library area. The shadow with the horrible feeling was all on the ceiling of the library. It returned when we were on a bus in the following days. It still follows us now and then. I see it especially in my bedroom in the corners. I do seem to have a thing with energies attaching themselves to me. Oh my God, Harriet, it sounds like that first experience was like a time slip. Oh, it really, I don't know why time slips freak me out so much. In the grand scheme of everything that we cover on the podcast, why is time slips the thing that gives me the heebie-jeebies? I think it is because I feel like, oh my God, what if you slipped into another dimension and you just didn't come back? You know what I mean? You didn't come back to your own world and you constantly have to live in a world where everything is slightly different. It almost feels like, you know, the upside down version of the world that you were living in. That for whatever reason you slipped into it, and for that brief period of time and then you slipped back into your own reality. Ugh, gives me the heebie-jeebies. And maybe that was what you were feeling when you felt like it was an earthquake. Maybe it was that kind of energy. And that's why you were feeling it. I will say that if I have like vertigo or low blood pressure, I will feel like the whole world is tilting and moving like it's an earthquake, do you know? So it may have been something physical, but it doesn't make it any less scary when you're like, why is nobody else experiencing this? The whole world is tilting and moving. But it, you know, it could be something to do with that time slippy energy. Do you know, give me shadow people any day. I'd take shadow people over time slip for real.
Dude, did you order the new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I've never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better, especially me.
You haven't changed your hair in 15 years. Selfies? Check, please.
New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. With eligible phone trade-in and unlimited ultimate. Any condition guaranteed. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States, 1H 2025. All rights reserved. Trade-in and additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for details.
Only Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile
We'll give you a free year of service.
Free year?
When you buy a new 5G phone.
New 5G phone?
Enough.
But I'm your hype man. When you purchase an eligible device, you get $25 off every month for 12 months with credits totaling 1 year of free service. Taxes extra for the device and service plan. Online only.
You walk in tired and hungry. One bad dinner away from losing it. You don't like to cook. You don't want more takeout. You just want something good. That's why there's Dish by Blue Apron. Pre-made meals with at least 20 grams of protein and no artificial flavors or colors. From fridge to fork in 5 minutes or less. Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
And our second story today comes from Rebecca. I would like to start this story with a trigger warning for pet loss and for child loss. My story begins in 2014 when my husband and I adopted a pit bull named Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle had been rescued, along with 17 other dogs, from a horrific dog fighting ring by Baltimore City Animal Control. Honeysuckle was one of 2 dogs not euthanized after the seizure of the animals due to illness, aggression, or horrible injuries. Even though Honeysuckle had been used for breeding and eventually used for much worse, she had a loving heart and trusted the people who rescued her. Honeysuckle was unfortunately disfigured due to injuries sustained in her previous life. We'll never know exactly what happened to her, but we do know that she changed our lives forever. Honeysuckle was scared of everything when we brought her home. She was even scared of walking on grass, most likely because she had never seen it before. It took much patience on our part and really getting to know our girl. People would cross the street if they saw us coming. They were scared of her. This prompted many conversations with strangers about pit bulls, and eventually I went to work with the people who rescued her. My career in animal welfare and rescue began because of this sweet girl. She sparked something in my heart, and I knew I needed to help more pit bulls just like her. I'll fast forward slightly. Honeysuckle was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in October 2020 during the pandemic. She was given 2 to 4 months to live. We spent as much time with her as possible, and our little survivor actually gave us another 2 years. During those 2 years, my husband and I tried having a baby, After multiple miscarriages, I was finally able to have my first and only child at 35 in 2022. Honeysuckle adored this little boy. She watched over him night and day. Unfortunately, Honeysuckle's cancer got the best of her 3 months after my son was born. She fought as hard as she could and stayed with us until she got to meet her little brother. Now, I do feel the need to tell you that my entire life I've been sensitive to spirits, and I've had multiple experiences of my own that could cover another email. This email is not about me, but about my son. Honeysuckle has shown me multiple times that she is still with us. She sends me little signs all the time. Recently, my son, who is now 3, has begun letting me know that she visits him regularly. The first example I'll give involves our pit bull named Olive, who lived with Honeysuckle for many years. My husband and I were folding laundry and my son came running out of his room yelling, "Olive, Olive, come quick, Honeysuckle is here, Honeysuckle is here." The next example I'll give is when my son looked at my husband straight in the face and said, "Daddy, we can go pick up Honeysuckle from the hospital now. She says she's all better." My son absolutely shares the same gift his mama has. Honeysuckle is still with us watching over her baby, and why wouldn't she still be with us? This was where she finally started living and received love that she had never known before. I'd stay too if it were me. Oh God, I would just like to say, Rebecca and listeners, it took me multiple times to record that story because I just kept bursting into tears. Oh, how can you not? I can't bear the thought of people being cruel to animals. Honestly, if hell exists for people who do things like dog fighting. It makes me... honestly, I'm not a violent person. I know that might shock people when they hear me talking about kicking kids down the stairs, whatever. I've never hit another human being in my entire life, and I've got 3 older siblings. So that just goes to show you the level of restraint I'm capable of. But I genuinely think if I came across somebody who's involved in any sort of animal cruelty, I would happily beat them up. Happily. And look, I know violence never solves anything, but you know what? Christ, some people need a bit of karmic retribution. I can't bear that the dog was also called Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle for a pit bull, a fighting dog. A dog that had been traumatized its whole life, and it came home and was capable of great love. When you would understand, I'm going to start crying again. God, when you could understand that if that dog was reactive, if it was like aggressive, whatever, no, it came home and it was capable of real, actual love. Capable of loving human beings who were the same people who hurt her. Oh, my heart, I can't do it. I just can't cope with it. I can't. You know what? Honeysuckle is having the best time in heaven, or whatever the equivalent of heaven is. Honeysuckle is there having an absolute whale of a time. Oh, people make me so cross. And also, Rebecca, I'm so glad that you got to, that Honeysuckle got to meet her little brother. That's a really beautiful thing, and I'm sorry that it was such a difficult journey to get there. It's funny, isn't it, how our stories, and I say this all the time, there's a real synchronicity to them. Like, we've had a lot of stories about child loss in the last couple of days, and I promise you, it is not, pointed. It's not, I don't categorize stories or group them together. It's just sometimes lots of stories come up at the same time, lots of themes emerge at the same time, which is really, really strange. Because these stories come in at random, from random people all over the world, at random times. Somebody has just sat down and gone, I'm going to write in my story now. And then the themes just seem to group together very, very often, which I do think is really strange. And like I've been saying, the last couple of days, there will be people listening to this who are trying to conceive, who will have been struggling to conceive, or who have suffered multiple miscarriages, and you're not alone. There's no kind of words that I can say that is going to bring comfort or peace, but I really do hope that listening to these stories isn't too triggering or difficult, but also brings you a bit of comfort that there are other people who might understand what it is that you are going through and to come out the other side. And in this case, of course, Honeysuckle came back to that little boy. Because of course she did. Because that little boy was obviously somebody else in this group of humans that she absolutely loved and adored. And she's coming back to keep an eye on him. And I get it. Like, this is the place where she finally started receiving love that she had never known before. Like, who wouldn't stay? Who wouldn't want to come back and check in and give some of that love back? Oh, God, my heart, honestly. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Thank you to Harriet and Rebecca for sending in your stories. Remember, if you would like to send in your story, you can do so by emailing it to reallifeghoststoriespodcast@gmail.com. You can also check out the website, reallifeghoststoriespodcast.com. And if you are desperate for some extra content, you can subscribe to the Patreon. That is patreon.com/reallifeghoststories, where for $5 a month or $2 a month, you can get access to heaps of extra content, as well as every single main and mini episode completely ad-free. And on that note, I shall see you next time.
Dude, did you order...
The new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I've never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better. Especially me.
You haven't changed your hair in 15 years. Selfies? Check, please.
New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. With eligible phone trade-in and unlimited ultimate. Any condition guaranteed. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States, 1H 2025. All rights reserved. Trade-in and additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for details.